If you are being called to create something new and you find the fear holding you back, this video is for you. Because there is something so powerful to that moment of uncertainty, to you've just gotten the download and you're wondering, should I step forward with this? Should I share this? Because it's something so different than you've done before. Now, it could be recording a video, it could be writing a book, it could be making a song, it could be a new business. It could be some way that you're channeling that creative spark and helping other people. But when you choose to confront the fear, when you choose to do it anyways, something powerful, something magnetic, something palpable starts to unlock. And sometimes those things that are calling us so strongly also come with a lot of resistance. But just start. Because imagine there's a boulder at the top of the hill and there's a peg holding it in place. Do you think you've got to push that boulder down the hill, or do you just need to remove that peg? And then the boulder is going to go down the hill because it's got momentum, it's got gravity behind it. That little peg keeping it in place is the fear of just doing it. Because the universe is providing you with an inspiration. Now it's looking to see, well, is he going to take inspired action? Because you're asking for this inspiration, and the universe is going to give you what you're asking for. But if you don't take the inspired action, it's not going to keep sending you new downloads in a continuous stream. When you take that first step, when you choose to follow the impulse of spirit, of source, that peg gets pulled right out of the ground, and now you start flowing. And now all these other streams and all these other downloads and all these other opportunities and all these other connections start to flow in accordance with that. That's the law of attraction. But we have to make ourselves a cooperative dance partner to that. Because that's what I've noticed, is that when I would get these downloads and that resistance started coming up, that if I felt the uncomfortability of that, if I worked through the uncertainty around it, and that impulse gets translated into the next step I can take, when I would start to take that first step, other things would start to come into place. And the creative flow would start. But ultimately, you're the creator. This is the call and response game. When you ask, it is given. But when it's given, what do you do with it? Because if we constantly let ourselves stay stuck in uncertainty, stay stuck in doubt, do I have anything to say? Who am I to say this? Who am I to do that? We've got to help ourselves before we can help others. And the way that we do that, we don't have to be perfect. Sometimes that is the way that you help yourself, is that you get out of your own way. You take that peg out so that this thing that you're feeling that's lighting you up, that it's something bigger than you. It's from your higher self. And when you step out of your own way, you become a clear channel for it to flow through. And that's what's that magic. That's what's that spark. That's what's that genius within you. And uncertainty is like a wobbling, right? You're not quite on the emotional scale of boredom. You're not quite at the emotional scale of content. You're wavering, wondering, can I do this? And I think it really traces back to self-worth. I think it really traces back to trusting your intuition. I think it really traces back to your voice, owning your truth. And truth is not just, whatever, looking at whatever's already here out in the world to observe it and regurgitate it. It's that crystal sharp focus upon your interest. Because the universe is wanting to flow this creative energy through you into expression. And so as you kind of grapple with, should I do this? Ask yourself, why do you really want this? What do you really want? What is your why? Because it is so easy to get stuck, never even starting, never even following the impulse, feeling blocked, feeling in that stagnancy, because you're looking for the how. How am I going to do this? Right? What's it going to look like? How's it going to be received? But if you come back to the why, right? You activate the vibration. You activate the passion. You activate the creative force, the God force of Source. You find that and you start to allow it to come through. You start to allow it to flow through you. You start to allow yourself to express more and to allow it to stream without letting the little voices of judgment of how it's forming while it's forming. Because you're sculpting it moment to moment to moment to moment to moment. I was reading Abraham's book. What's it called? This is a good one. It popped out to me on the bookshelf during meditation today, called Ask and It Is Given. And they were talking about, life is like you're in this journey of creating your life. You are sculpting your energy, and your energy is like the clay, right? As you're creating your reality. And they're compare this to when a sculptor sits down at a table. They don't just plop a wad of clay on the table and be like, oh, it's done, and then they just spend the rest of their lives like never making the sculptures because they've just plopped it on there and look, that's just how it turned out. And then they have dinner parties where they get around the table and, oh, look at my blobby sculpture, the colors are all over the fucking place. No, they get their hands in and they enjoy the process. And then as they're sculpting the clay, they're learning new things about sculpting, and they're getting new contrasts, they're getting new data, new information. And that's like this process is like, get your hands into the clay. Get into that place. Come into your heart and connect with why you started this. There's something bigger than you that is calling you to create this, that is giving you this download to be of service to this universal energy that wants to express into something. Have fun. Enjoy it. This is a blessing. This is not a burden. This is not something you have to do. This is not something that you were assigned. Okay, this is a choice. And if you resist it, you're going to persist in that state. But if you embrace it, have the courage to lead with your heart, have the courage to tap into the vision and to start to allow it to unfold. And especially when things are uncertain, right? Recently, I went through a breakup. I came back from Bali on a spiritual journey. I thought I was going to be living in a house. Now I'm staying with a friend through the snow. It's snowing right now. And I'm uncertain where I'm going to go next. But I know that every single time something like this has happened in my life, and I know that this has been a huge blessing for me to come back to the creative process, to realize that I learned so much from that relationship, from that journey, and to realize that though things are uncertain, I can choose to get my hands in the clay. And I've been in these situations, it always works out, right? I've been in a situation just like this before. And the next place lines up. And it's been giving me an opportunity to really focus on why I started this journey of creating in the first place, what I truly want to create, why I'm doing this. Because I know what it's like to be stuck in the process of creation. I know what it's like when you're feeling kind of slumped or like, why does it feel like it's not quite flowing or taking shape? But what I find is that when I follow the impulse in the moment, which has also involved feeling all the feelings that have been coming up, there's been a lot of clearing, there's been a lot of healing, there's been a lot of realizations that I've been having. And it's been crystallizing what I desire. It's been crystallizing my focus. And so that uncertainty, that's just a split energy. So if you start asking yourself why, and another really powerful practice is 7 levels deep, if you look that up. And I can also include a link below to one of those. Basically, it's a journal prompt that you ask yourself, 7 times why it is that you really want this thing and what it, within your purpose or what it is that you're creating in your life right now. And it helps you get to the deeper layers. And as you start to align with that, why you're doing this, give yourself the permission to create. Give yourself the permission to start. Give yourself the permission to follow the inspiration. And then the universe starts, everything starts lining up. The way it takes shape. This happened recently with my website. I was working on it for a long time, and then within a day, this whole thing started coming together. And that's what that power of just dialing it in, honing the focus, honing your vibration in. Because there's a reason why you've been gifted this download. There's a reason why you're being called to do this. And the more that you follow that, the more the universe is going to send you that. I believe it was Bashar, the channeler, recently that was talking about that. That if you ask and the universe starts sending you inspirations, but you don't take the action, it's like, oh, well, we're not going to give him more than he can handle. But when you do, you're linking the internal guidances, you're linking the download of your higher self into physical expression. You're creating this feedback loop of oh, okay, he's following the guidance. You start creating this vortex. And then, you know, things start coming into form. Things it starts getting downloaded to you even more. Like each step starts unfolding, and then you're in the process of joy. You're in the just doing it because that's what you love, you know, not as a means to an end, but as an end in and of itself. And that is magnetic. That's what many of these processes with the law of attraction point to and talk about. And also going within yourself. Closing your eyes. When you close your eyes and you go within yourself and meditate, and you shut the doors to your senses. All right, this is ancient wisdom. And you're able to commune with your inner being and feel how you would feel in the creation of this. And it's already created. And now you're feeling the wish fulfilled. You're feeling it coming into being. So know, if you've watched this and you've gotten this calling, something so powerful is going to come through as you follow through. Peace.